if your makeup has been breaking and has always been cakey, you are at the right place. If you want to learn how to tie your scarf, your gele, and also your makeup, just so you know, you are at the right place. You cannot stop sweat entirely. We are all humans, so we'll definitely sweat, but we are going to Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. With me here today is my beautiful sister Ella. She's going for an event and I am a makeup artist for today, and I'm going to do the makeup with all the love, pampering and care in the world because I love her so much. So the first thing I did was to carve her brows because I wanted it to have a very defined and a nice shape. Well, before we go into details, guys, if you're watching me, if you're seeing this face for the first time, please hit the subscribe button. And if this video helps you in any way, don't forget to like and also comment in the comment section. So after carving her brows, I went ahead to prep her skin, yes, by removing all the dirt with a face wipe. I just had to clean all of that so that I will have a very clean and a smooth skin. Thereafter, I went in with moisturizer. I had to go clean my hands so that I can massage all the products that I'll be using into her skin properly. This is just so that I can have a very flawless skin work. Like, guys, this whole method that I'm using, I actually did it and she went for the event and came back, everything was still intact. So please guys, follow this routine. This is just for a flawless skin work and so that the skin can be really smooth and clean while I apply the products. So right now I'm going to go in with Zaron hydrating serum all over her face, and I'll concentrate more on her T-zone areas, which are the forehead, the jaw and underneath her eyes, and I'm just going to use my fingers and massage that into her skin properly so that everything will sit well and nice on her face. So I'm going to go in with setting spray, and this setting spray is from Kiss Beauty, and I'm going to use my beauty blender to blend that into her skin properly, guys. Blend so that everything will come out nice. So guys, at this point I'm going to prime her face using a face primer, and this face primer is from Flawless Ivy Cosmetics, and I'm just going to use my fingers to apply this all over her face, and I'll concentrate more on her T-zone areas. My sister actually sweats more underneath her eyes and on her forehead, also on her nose, but not too much. So I'm going to concentrate on her forehead and underneath her eyes very well. I'm going to concentrate there more. So right now I'm going to pick up my foundation, and this foundation is from V Beauty Cosmetics, and I'm just going to apply this on her face. From what you can see in the video, you can see that my sister's chest and her neck are actually two different colors. So I'm going to make sure that the face and the neck matches with the chest. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to apply this foundation, and I'll be leaving the shades of all the products that I'm using in the description box so that you guys can see. So I'm going to use my beauty blender. Make sure that your beauty blender is damp enough. So I'm going to apply this all over her face by tapping on the skin. You do not want to drag because you don't want to have harsh lines. So I actually do prefer to use beauty blender because I feel like it gives me a very flawless finishing, but some persons use brush, which is quite good. So right now I'm going to conceal, and I'm using this concealer from Adventure Cosmetics. This particular concealer does not take too much time before it dries, so I'm going to be really fast about this. So I'll apply this concealer on her T-zone area. Make sure that you go in with a concealer that is about 2 to 3 tones lighter than that of her skin tone because you want to highlight these areas. So I'm going to pick up my beauty blender again, the same beauty blender, and I'm going to blend that into her skin just like this by tapping the concealer into her skin. In fact, before I was done, everything dried off, so I had to apply setting spray just to make sure that the area is a little bit wet, and then I blended everything and it was good enough. So right now I'm going to go in with blush, and I'll be picking the shade of blush from my lip palette, which is from Cheek Cosmetics, and I'm just going to apply this on her cheekbone like this, and I'll do the same thing on the other side of her face. Whatever you do on one side, you want to repeat on the other side, and make sure that the both sides are equal. So I'll pick up her foundation so that there is no demarcation between the blush and the concealer. I'll pick up her foundation and then blend this area like this so that everything will be properly blended and so that it will look nice. So at this point, I'm going to pick up my powder palette, which is from Flawless Ivy Cosmetics, and the areas where I need to contour, I'm going to go in with her shade of powder because she's actually dark skinned. I'm going to go in with her shade of powder, and the areas where I highlighted, I'm going to go in with a shade of powder that is about 3 tones lighter than that of her skin tone. So I'm going to talk about underneath her eyes right now. Before applying the powder all over her face, you discover that the eyes, underneath the eyes, have creased a little bit because you know that your model or your client is going to blink, is going to open and close her eyes. So before you apply your powder, you need to make sure that you go in with your beauty blender again or your brush and then blend underneath the eyes before applying your powder. I didn't actually do this on camera, but I made sure I did it off camera and everything came out really nice. So I went in with a powder shade of blush and then applied that on the area where I applied the cream blush initially. So I'm going to apply a setting powder from Adventure Cosmetics, and I'm just going to apply this on her T-zone area like this and then leave it for a while for it to bake, like for the powder to set into her skin to absorb all the sweat that may come out. Now let me tell you something, guys, you cannot stop sweat entirely. We are all humans, so we'll definitely sweat, but we are going to try as much as possible to reduce the effect of the sweat on our skin. That is what we as makeup artists do. So for her brows, I'm going in with this brown carrot eyeliner, and I'm just going to line underneath the brow, and then the top of the brow, I'll just connect the top of the brow with the one underneath the brow, and I'm going to fill up the areas where she does not really have enough hairs using this Davis brow pencil in the shade 0.08. And then for concealing, I'm going in with this Zaron concealer that is about 2 tones lighter than that of her skin tone, and I'm going to highlight underneath the arc right there. And then for the inner corner of her brow, I'm going to go in with her shade of foundation. I am not going to conceal the top of the brow because I feel like it's good enough. I like the shape, I like the way it is. It's not too bold, neither is it too soft. So I went ahead to apply that concealer on her lid, on her eyes like this, and then I applied eye primer at the top of her lid like this, basically on the crease area, and then blended everything properly. So for shadows today, I'm going in with this purple shade of shadow from Violet Vice eyeshadow palette, and I'm just going to blend this the way you can see me do, like this. And then for the inner corner of her crease area, I'm going to go in with a milk shade of shadow and then blend that. So for the outer corner of her eyes like this, I'm going to go in with a black shade of shadow because I want the whole eye makeup to pop and I want it to look really, really nice. And then for the inner corner of her eyes, which is her crease area, in between where there is a demarcation between the milk and the purple, I'm going to go in with a pink shade of shadow, and everything just came out really nice, just the way I wanted it to be. So right now I'm going to blend the transition area like this so that everything looks good. And then for her nose contour, I'm going to contour the nose using a shade of powder that is about 2 tones darker than that of her skin tone. Make sure it's not too dark, guys. It shouldn't be too dark. If it's too dark, you can go in with a lighter shade of powder and blend that out properly. So I'm going to line her tear duct area using this black shade of eyeliner from Carrot Cosmetics, and then I'm going to blend all of that using a black shade of shadow, just so that the whole eye makeup can pop and it can give me a very, very nice illusion. So for mascara, I'm using Zaron mascara because you know that the eyeshadow must have fallen on her natural lashes, so I just want to take that off using this black mascara that you can see in my hands. So right now I'm going to move over to applying her lashes, and everything just changed. Like everything came out really nice and she loved it. Like it was so cool. So at this point I'm going to move over to her lips, and I'll be highlighting the lips using a gold shade of eyeshadow from Gele Cosmetics, and then afterwards I'm going to line her upper lip and her lower lip using this brown shade of lippy like this, and I'm going to blend. Blending is key, guys. You just have to blend properly so that everything comes out nice. So for the inner corner of her lip, I'm going to go in with a red shade of lippy, and I'm just going to blend all of that. I'll apply this on her lower and her upper lips and blend all of that. At this point, it wasn't really giving, so I had to go in with a purple shade of lippy from Cheek Cosmetics at the top of her lip and then at her lower lip, and everything just changed. It just came out really nice. So guys, do not forget that you have to apply powder. First off, you have to apply foundation, powder, and then setting powder on her neck, just so that it reduces the effect of sweat that also be on her neck. You want everything to come out nice. Moving on, I'm going to buff out the excess setting powder that I have on her face like this, using her shade of powder, and I'm just going to buff it out. Because I used a light shade, like a white shade of setting powder, I need to use her shade of powder to buff the setting powder out so that everything can look nice on her face. So I'm going to highlight her cheekbone using this gold shade of eyeshadow from Gele Cosmetics. You can see how nice that looks. I'm going to apply this on her jaw, her forehead, and her nose because I want that pointed effect, guys. I wanted that illusion. So right now I'm going to go in with setting spray, which is from Kiss Beauty. And voila, guys, you can see how amazing this looks. It was so nice. It was so matte on her face and it looked so good. So I'm going to pick up my scarf. This is actually an ashoke, and I'm going to fold the front of the ashoke like this because you don't want the front to look rough. You want your work to be really neat. And I'm going to make about 5 pleats like this while I ask her to hold the middle of her head so that everything does not fall off. I'm going to move her head to trace the pleats on the left hand side and also at the right hand side of her face, and then make the interchange at the back. The measurement for this Gele tutorial today is 20/80, so one hand has to be really short and the other hand long. The longer hand stays under while the shorter hand stays on top at the back. So the longer hand is the hand you bring to the front and then take it to the back and knot, guys. I hope that is understood. So right now I'm going to bring the longer hand to the front and start making the pleats. So I'm basically making the pleats on top each other like this. Initially at the base we made the pleats behind each other, but right now I'm going to place them on top each other. So while doing this, I went to the front, looked at her face, and I felt, oh, she's actually on the plus size. So a small Gele, something not too dramatic, was going to look better on her. So I said, wow, I think that a round Gele will actually look better on you, and she bought the idea. So we decided to try. So I kept on making the pleats, placing them on top each other. Make sure you take your time to do this so that this comes out really nice. So I'm going to do this from the point when I brought the long hand of the Gele to the front to this point and then to the end. Make sure that you take your time in making your pleats. Guys, if you've not watched my previous videos on how to tie Gele, I'm going to link some of them in this particular video. You could actually learn. It's very easy. Learn how to tie Gele on yourself. Learn how to tie any type of scarf on yourself. It's going to save you lots of money, time, and stress as well. So at this point, after making the pleats, I'm going to move over to this side of her face and then trace the pleats. Basically what you want to do is to trace. So if you have let's say, take for example, if you have 10 pleats at the left hand side of your face, you need to make sure that while you're tracing the pleats on the other side, it has to be 10 as well, so that you don't have one side looking too big and the other side looking too small. So you have 10 on the left hand side and 10 on the right hand side as well, not 10 on one side and 8 or 6 on the other side, because it's going to look small. So take your time in making your pleats and making sure that everything is equal. So this is me pushing the Gele up a little bit because I wanted it to look bigger than what it was looking like. So at this point, I'm going to move over to the back and then ask her to hold the Gele right there, and then I'm going to knot. I'm just going to knot the short hand with the long hand together like this. Make sure that your client says it's firm enough and then knot the second time. You could actually knot 2-3 times, whatever works for you guys. So this is it, guys. This is the end. I had to close the back of the Gele because her hair was not, she didn't have any wig on. It was just an all back style. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do hope that you loved this video. When she came back home, everything was still intact and I was so proud of myself. When she asked me, how much do I pay you? I was like, no, this whole week I'm going to send you on errands and you're not going to grumble, you're not going to tell me no. She was like, no problem, I'm going to do it. I loved it. So guys, I am the queen for this week. I am the queen. She has decided to pay me back by running all my errands this week, guys. So I'm super excited. I am going to send the life out of her. She's not aware. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful, guys. If it was, please hit the subscribe button, like, share, turn on your notification button so that each time I post you get a notification and you'll be the first to know. Please share this video, guys. Share it. Support your girl, guys. Help the algorithm. Favor me. Thank you guys so much. I love you all so much. My name remains Lizzie. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.